Hey y'all. Now, you're probably hearing a lot about elderberry syrup right now. It's cold and flu season. And you wonder, what's all this hype all about? Well, let's find out. So this right here is homemade elderberry syrup. Now,
with its deep purple hue and its sweet tart flavor, elderberry has long been cherished for its medicinal properties.
but did you know that this immune boosting elixir is a versatile addition to your culinary repertoire? Yes, I went repertoire on y'all.
From jazzing up your morning breakfast to crafting delightful beverages, the potential uses for elderberry syrup stretch far beyond your medicine cabinet. Whether you're aiming to add a health kick or just a burst of berry goodness, here are the star ingredients in our elderberry syrup. So you're going to need 2 cups of dried elderberries, 1 cup of raw unpasteurized honey, 2 to 3 teaspoons of dried ginger, and about 1 tablespoon of whole cloves.
Let's talk equipment. What do you need to make this beautiful elixir? Well, you need a pot, okay? You'll also need a smasher, like a potato smasher. Once the elderberries are simmering, you just want to smash those suckers down. Believe me, it will make your life easier when you get to the next stage. The next stage, which is straining your syrup. Now you can use a strainer, a sieve, or cheesecloth, just anything. If you use cheesecloth, make sure if it's not a tight weave, make sure you double the cheesecloth so you don't get pieces of the elderberries and things getting into your syrup. But you want some kind of strainer, and then the pot or a container that you're going to strain the liquid into, okay? A spoon. So as your elderberry is cooking or steeping, you just want to just occasionally stir it, okay? So I think that's it. And then perhaps the most important thing that I just forgot, you need a container. Move this out the way. All this equipment is messing with my mind. You need a container, or you need a jar, a bottle. Any kind of container will do. I personally like the flip tops. It just makes it easier to pour. Let's get going with our recipe. So let's pour our 4 cups of water into our pot. Next, we'll pour our 2 cups of dried elderberries into the pot. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of dried ginger. Next, I'm going to add my whole cloves. And I'm using 2 sticks of cinnamon. There you go. High heat. Stir all the ingredients, the elderberries and the herbs. And we're gonna let this come to a boil. Okay, now our elderberries, ooh, that looks I'll leave it alone. Now that our elderberries are boiling, we're going to turn the heat down, reduce the heat. Now we're going to simmer everything for 30 to 40 minutes. So let's talk about honey really quickly while our herbs and elderberry are simmering. Now, honey is expensive. I know. Now, I am fortunate enough to know someone who has a farm, and he brings me raw, local honey, sage honey, orange blossom honey. Not everybody can do that, okay? Nor do they want to. I found, well, my husband found at Costco, a 3-pound bottle from Costco. This is the Kirkland brand. It's SoCal raw and unfiltered honey, which unfiltered basically means unpasteurized. So this is good honey. It's $10 for this 3-pound bottle, which is a really good savings, because when we're making these elderberry syrup recipes, you're gonna wanna make more than just one batch. And for like the smallest batch, at least that we're making, it requires 1 cup of honey. So as you can see, that can go pretty fast. So if you have a Costco, I don't know about Sam's, try both of them out, but it's worth it to see if you can get this as a way to stretch your money and to stretch your batches of elderberry syrup. Now, if you're going to give this elderberry syrup to members in your family and they just happen to be children ages 1 year and younger, you can't use the honey, okay? The reason being is that the honey can create infantile botulism. Sounds scary, it's scary, you don't want that. So as an alternate or substitute, you can use agave or you can use maple syrup, okay? So it's been 40 minutes and our elderberries and the herbs, in this case our ginger, our cloves, and our cinnamon sticks, they have been simmering for 40 minutes. So the next step is we're going to steep our elderberry and our herbs for 1 hour, okay? So by steeping, that means there is no heat. You're just going to let the berries and herbs just steep, just sit and marinate in the pot for 1 hour. So our elderberries and our herbs have been steeping for 1 hour. So before we strain everything, we're gonna mash up the berries, just so when we put everything in the cheesecloth or the strainer, it's just less work we have to do. Before I started stomping this, you could still see the berries poking through the liquid, but as I started to stomp, you started to see more of the liquid rise. Now that we have smashed the berries, we're going to pour everything into a strainer or a cheesecloth and have our liquid. Okay, so we have 2 ways that we can strain our syrup. One, you can take some cheesecloth or some muslin or some gauze.
Or you can use a strainer. Make sure it fits the container that you're straining the liquid into.
Now it's time to strain. And then just scrape the rest of the berries into your strainer of choice. Now, you see how much liquid we have? What is that, a cup? That's almost 2 cups of liquid. Let's see how much we get once we strain it. Look at all that liquid coming out. Okay, I'm gonna do it with the cloth, the cheesecloth, just because somebody's gonna ask, I wish I could see it with the cheesecloth. Okay, this is a pretty tight weave, so I'm not gonna double it up, but let me just see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of this. Look at that. Don't worry, it will not stain. All right, now let's see if we can get some more juice out of here. All right. Uh-oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, look at all that extra. Look at that. I'm gonna put the discarded elderberry and herb leftovers in a bowl because we're gonna do something with this, okay? All right, let's get some more. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. This will not stain. I kid you not, it will not stain. I will show you how clean my hands will be once I'm done. Don't be afraid. It almost looks like a heart, right? A beating heart. This is probably the last batch. But let's see where we are now. We are at almost 2.5. The dial did move. 2.5 cups, barely. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, I have on nude nail polish, which shows everything. But you see, it looks like it's gonna stain, but it's not. It doesn't stain my granite countertops or my wooden cutting board. So I have granite countertops, and this is what happens when you spill on the stove, wipes up on the cutting board, this wooden cutting board. So don't worry about it getting everywhere. And you saw how my nails were. I had it all over my hands and nothing. Okay, are y'all still with me? So we have about just shy of 2.5 cups of our elderberry syrup. Now it's cooled down and now it's time to add our honey. The consensus is with adding honey is whatever the volume is of your syrup, half it, and that's how much honey to add. For example, if I have 4 cups of elderberry syrup, I will add 2 cups of honey. If I have 1 cup of elderberry syrup, I will add a half cup of honey. So you see where we're going with that. I have 2.5. I'm just gonna round it up. I have you can never have too much honey. So I have 2.5 cups of elderberry syrup. So I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of honey, because 1 1/4 times 2 gives us 2.5 cups. So let's do that. Okay, so let's add our honey. Now you're just gonna stir it. So that's it. Our elderberry syrup is done. We just added the honey. It's cooled. Now it's ready to go into your bottle of choice. Now you can use your trusty mason jars. All you have to do is just add a funnel on top, or if you're feeling dangerous, you can just pour straight into the jar. Or if you're using a bottle, grab a thinner funnel for those flip top bottles. That's it. We have our elderberry syrup. I'm just gonna wipe it down because there were some spills from when I was pouring from the funnel. Now, actually, the last thing you need to do is to label your syrup. Now, I'm just gonna make a label, elderberry syrup, put the date. Today is October 25th, and use by. So I'm just gonna put, I'm going by 3 months. So that is 11, 12. So January 25th, 2024. I'll just put that label on. And I'll put this in the refrigerator. That's it. That is it. Now, listen, so many opinions on how long will this last. Store this in the refrigerator. It will keep 2 to 3 months per Rosemary Gladstar's instructions in her, I think it's the herbal recipe book or the other book, but 2 to 3 months. All you do is you take 1 tablespoon a day, especially for maintenance. If you're feeling, under the weather, you got some sniffles coming on, you can take 1 tablespoon up to 4 times a day. Remember, this is a tonic, so it's very safe. You can take it, consistently every day. Now, if you're gonna be adding all kinds of different herbs like echinacea or feverfew or whatever, then that's a whole different ballpark. Now remember, this is a syrup, this is a decoction, it's very highly concentrated. You only need a tablespoon a day, or maybe 3 to 4 times a day if you're feeling sick. So you're not gonna go through this really quickly unless you're using this to pour on food. In that case, make a bigger batch. Now, if you decide you want to not only use this for medicinal purposes, but for food, take a look at all these different ways that you can use elderberry syrup that I bet you didn't think you could use this for.
Number 1, it's our smoothie booster. Blend elderberry syrup into your morning smoothies for an added touch of sweetness and a boost of health benefits. Whether it's a green detox smoothie or a berry bonanza, a splash of elderberry can make all the difference. Number 2 is our yogurt mix-in. Drizzle some elderberry syrup over your yogurt or parfait for a delightful berry zing. Number 3 is our tea enhancer. Add a splash of elderberry syrup to your morning or evening tea for a sweet berry flavored twist. Number 4, pancake or waffle topping. Swap out your regular maple syrup for elderberry syrup. It pairs beautifully with pancakes, waffles, or French toast. Number 5, dessert drizzle. Pour some elderberry syrup over ice cream, cheesecake, or any dessert to elevate its flavor profile. And number 6, oatmeal flavoring. Stir elderberry syrup into your morning oatmeal for a berry-infused start to your day. Now back to our elderberry syrup. I'm not done with you yet.
Okay, so you have a couple of options for what to do with the remaining bits of your elderberry syrup. One, you can put them in your garden compost, and that's what I have done. But our friend Mary over at Mary's Nest, that's her YouTube channel, she had this wonderful idea. So instead of just using the compost as an alternative, you could put your remnants into ice cube trays. I don't have any ice cube trays, so I pulled out some candy molds. These are just silicone molds. Works just the same. And then you put the remnants in here, and then when you're ready for a tea, you can just take out the frozen remnant, and you can put it in a strainer, like for your tea, like a teapot, or you can put them in these tea balls right here. Close them up and drop them in your tea. So let's go ahead and just pack these up really quickly. Okay, so I didn't have enough for these two, but that's okay. So this will go in the freezer. The next time you're feeling under the weather, or you just want a simple little health boost to your foods, definitely consider homemade elderberry syrup. It's made with love, and it's full of warmth, and it's beneficial and natural and simply delicious. If this recipe sparked your interest, hit that thumbs up and share your elderberry adventures in the comments below. And if you found this recipe helpful, don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe for more healthy recipes. This is Nikki, the Messy Homesteader. Stay healthy, stay radiant, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.